Hopefully this is the last time I have to make a video like this, because I really like giving my opinion on a lot of things, but this is one of the areas that's very, very shady for me, just due to the fact that my opinion isn't really well liked by a lot of people. And although I will put it out there, I know that a lot of people will disagree with me, but this is a video that I have to make, and a video that I have to put my opinion on, because as you see by the title, I'm naming it now. I don't know if it's been named before by people, but I'm naming it Neilgate. Because we have Deflategate, there's Watergate, there's everything gate. But I'm going to name this Neilgate. And is it really a problem? And should we really care about it? That's the questions that we need to ask ourselves is it really a problem? Now we start with that. Is it really a problem? I personally say no. I don't think that this issue is an issue. I don't think it's a problem. And I think it's just another thing that the NFL media, or media in general, needed something to get a lot of attention on, and that's what it is. It's just an attention grabber. You hear someone that didn't stand for the national anthem, and automatically your patriotic mind thinks, that's bad, you're disrespecting the national anthem, you're disrespecting the flag, you're disrespecting your country, this, and that. And that's what everybody wants the audience to have. That's what everyone wants the people to think when you're reading it. At first glance, it doesn't matter if you hate the United States of America. It doesn't matter if you love it. At first glance, everyone always has the same thought, and that is, why are they doing this? And then it goes to either this is stupid or this is a real reason. And it's not like this is anything made up. You can go and ask yourself right now, when you first heard that Colin Kaepernick was kneeling or not standing, he was sitting originally during the national anthem. Were you angry? Were you mad? Were you sad? Were you happy? Did you enjoy it? Did you think that it was a way for him to stand up for what he believed in without having to stand up for what he believed in? Did you go with him, or did you think he was a scumbag? Those are the questions you have to sit down and really ask yourself about, because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it would be a big of a deal if they were, kneeling and sticking the middle finger at the soldiers, or kneeling and sticking the middle finger at the flag, or talking trash about the United States of America as a whole, or disrespecting the flag in a certain way. But they're not really doing that. If you really look at what they're saying and what they believe in and what they're talking about, is a lot of it is they're talking about the oppression of African Americans. And it's not like the people who are like not standing are white. They are African Americans, and as much as you can say, they are NFL players, most of them are making millions of dollars a year to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Even if you're a practice squad player, you're making upwards to at least $100,000 or more a year. So why are they complaining? What do they have to complain about? That's what you're thinking in your mind. Why are they complaining? Well, they have a valid reason to be complaining, even though most of them aren't going to get in a lot of trouble because they're superstars, they're big players. It is an issue because it is like it's an issue to care about it, because why do you care about it? They're standing up without standing for something that they believe in. It's the oppression of African Americans and even other minority people in the United States of America. Everyone can agree that people consider Hispanics, Asians, Haitians, African Americans, people from Europeans, they all consider them, South Americans, they all consider them minorities. Although some places there are a majority of them rather than other races, that's what they consider. And it's not only the oppression of African Americans, it's the oppression of other minorities around there. And what they're talking about does have a valid point behind it. And it's not like they're talking about this out of their behind and they're talking about it as if they don't know what they're talking about. If you've listened to some of the stuff they said, they have said some valid points. So you can't just sit there and think to yourself, oh, they're doing this because they hate the United States of America. The United States of America, no matter what you think, and there are a lot of people who I know personally who either agree with me or don't agree with me. And you know what? That's fine, because not everyone's going to agree with you and not everybody's going to like you in the world. And most of the time, guess what? You have to deal with that. But the United States of America, as most people see it, is one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest country in the world. People consider it a land of freedom, a land of opportunity. Back in the 1800s, it was the American dream. And still to this day, it is the American dream. That's what people are chasing. They're chasing the American dream of making money, of back in the 1800s owning their own land, property where there's land farther than the eye can see, and that land is theirs. It's their land. That's what they enjoyed. It's all about freedom, opportunity, money, everything that involves. There are people coming from horrible countries who are coming here and getting freedom. Maybe they're not getting paid as much, but a lot of the times they're coming, and even if they're not getting paid as much, they're getting paid minimum wage. They care because they're free. And that's what a lot of people see the United States of America as. And then there are a lot of people who see the United States of America as, yes, we are the greatest country in the world, but we do have flaws. And every country does have flaws. Every single country has flaws. Nothing is ever perfect. Nothing. It was the reason why in 1776 the United States of America had the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, trying to separate from basically the UK, from England, under that rule. They did not want to be under that rule anymore. That is the reason why on July 4th, 1776, America was created, to separate from issues. There were a lot of issues between America and the English, and everyone knows that. I mean, you could go to a basic history class, American history class, and you'll find that. You can even go to a history class if they're talking about English history, and you'll still know what they're talking about, and you'll still know the issues that were going on. And even then, after that, there were issues within the United States of America. You go later on down the road, you have the Civil War, you have the Reconstruction era, you have recession, you have depression, you have all the stuff that doesn't work. You had in the 1800s people living in tenant houses together, people thinking that immigration was an issue. All this stuff goes together, and there's always problems. Always. And I know I was rambling a lot in that little span time, but there's always issues no matter where you're at. And so that's how a lot of other people see it. They see, well, there's issues everywhere. There are people getting killed everywhere. But that's not the point. The point of the matter of they're saying is they're specifying the oppression of any other race or color rather than white. That's what they're saying. White Christians, white Catholics, that's what they're talking about. And even if you think that on 9/11, which even though I'm agreeing with these players, stand up without standing for what you believe in. That's what you should be doing. If you want to talk about how America is the land of opportunity, the land of freedom, they have the right and the freedom to do this. And you can't argue it behind that logic. Now, I do think that on 9/11, players should not have done this. Because it doesn't matter what you think about the United States of America, 9/11 is one of the most, if not the most, tragic events to ever happen in American history. There are people still to this day that cannot live with knowing about 9/11, and it was 15 years ago. It's hard for you to think about. It's hard to take for a lot of people, but that's what it is. And so I don't think that they should have done that. But either way, it's not my place to speak on their minds, to speak on what they believe in, to speak on what they want to talk about. Yes, it is my place to talk about what they're saying and talking about what they believe in. But their minds and their opinions are their own. And we want to talk about this whole thing of being free and having freedom. This is one thing where you have to say, listen, I don't agree with them, but they are using their American rights of freedom. I know that this video will be getting a lot of hate from people who don't agree with me, and I'm completely fine with that. But one of the things I'm just so sick and tired of is I'm tired of us talking about this. We're getting away from more major issues not only going on in the United States, but the rest of the world that could affect the United States. This is a huge issue in the United States of America, but they're making it more than what it should be. This has been Samurai Radio. I know this was more of a serious video, and like I said, if you don't agree with me, I know that you're going to hate on me, but that is what I had to put out. This will be hopefully the last video I have to be putting out about this unless something tragic happens. But I did need to talk about this because it's been on my mind. I didn't want to make a video because I didn't want the hate to come to my channel. But either way, I said from the beginning of my channel that I would be putting out my personal opinions, and this is my personal opinion. I hope you did enjoy this episode of Samurai Radio. We will see you next time when we will be broadcasting the Miami Dolphins versus the Cincinnati Bengals.